We are going to end on Gabriel Moreno. The kid is he's blowing everyone's mind, and this is a guy that we have talked about all season long, and Blue Jays fans are fairly familiar with him because he's been one of the top prospects since the beginning of last season. He's been talked about a lot, but man, he went into this Arizona Fall League, which is the majority of the Arizona Fall League is major leaguers and high-end prospects. So this is he played in Double A all year. He got a call up to Triple A right at the end of the season there, but he is playing with the highest level of talent as his opposition that he's ever played with, and
Yeah.
he is dominating. He is completely dominating this league. These are his numbers after 5 weeks in the Arizona Fall League. He's
Okay.
hitting 373, a 470 on base percentage, and just under a 600 slugging. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. has a 600 slugging, and Gabriel Moreno is slugging right now 593. It is absolutely insane what this kid is doing at 21 years old. He's looked good behind the plate, but even a little interesting caveat here, he is seeing quite a few reps at third base in the Arizona Fall League. Third base, of course, probably the biggest area of need for the Toronto Blue Jays currently. Could we see them make a splash? Go big in on a guy like Marcus Semien, bring back our boy, and then maybe see Moreno transition to third base and get a call up in early May? I don't know if this is the route that the front office would wish to take, but it is another option. And he
Well,
is really pushing the Blue Jays' hand. And this is one thing that this front office has done. They did it with Manoah, right? They forced him to pitch his way into the lineup. Like, Manoah left them no choice. He was dominating so heavily at AAA, they were like, well, we got to call him up, even though this wasn't the plan. And I think Moreno's kind of doing the same thing.
here's okay. So here's the thing with Moreno, and yes, I do just want to touch on the fact that Ross Atkins has said that his name does come up 3 or 4 times a day at these meetings. Um, and just to comment on the Moreno at third base, again, Atkins says there's, quote, a very realistic chance that he plays third base moving forward, but they want to see what he looks like in the spring. So the advantage of him going to third, and I mean, especially given this almost guaranteed at this point Danny Jansen MVP season that we're going to see in his breakout year next year. Um, there isn't a logjam at catcher, but like we're also kind of good. Like as long as
Yeah.
Danny Jansen continues to like be above average and good defensively, that's good enough, right? You can have nobody has a Von Rodriguez or like you don't
Joe
have
Mauer. Yeah.
Joe Mauer. Yeah, that's what you get at catcher, right? You want a defensive guy who isn't killing you offensively. Third base, we have a big hole. If Moreno plays third base, he can be in our lineup 160 times a year. Nobody does that as catcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need days off as a catcher to let your body heal, rest, recover, whatever.
Yes.
So Gabriel Moreno as a unit at third base. I don't know. There's something to be
And
excited there.
another little thing to think of too is he was a natural shortstop. It was the Jays that transitioned him to catcher at 18 3 years
Yeah.
ago. And the fact that, like you said, Danny Jansen has made some big steps forward, and it looks like he probably. The thing to remember about catcher is there's so much to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, like, even if Gabriel Moreno comes up and he's pounding the ball, we're going to see him make mistakes behind the plate. There's nothing you can do about it. He's a
Yeah.
21-year-old kid. And we have watched how much Danny Jansen has progressed defensively. He is solid back there. He calls a good game. And this took 4 years for him to get here. So would we rather, and you make a really good point, would we rather see Moreno in the lineup almost 100% of the time? And, you know, could he be worse than Kevin Biggio at third base? I don't I don't think so.
I don't think
Not
so
that
either.
Biggio was Like like Biggio was bad.
Look, if Kevin Biggio is hitting 300 and slugging 900 and playing that way at third base, nobody complains.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that's what Moreno's going to do in his rookie season, but I mean, one thing we've discussed this kind of, well, all of the last half of last season is that Moreno might potentially be the price that we need to pay to bring Jose Ramirez in, who would be our third baseman. I think I'd rather have Moreno at third base for the next 7 years for basically for free.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, he's not going to cost...
maybe if the CBA gets amended.
Like, contract-wise, there's an advantage of having Moreno play third base for free when we're having to pay Vlad and Bo, 3-4 years from now, right?
Yep.
I don't know. That's kind of a sexy idea, Gabby Moreno.
I really like that
base.
idea too.
I'm
and
starting to really get some
to see
some
him
heat
getting
on this.
those reps at third, and to see that the front office with the Jays is kind of on that same wavelength, right?
And maybe that's just an indication of the confidence that they have in Alejandro Kirk and Danny Jansen. Maybe they're just like, look, we got two good guys. Let's not shake the bottle too much. Let's just get creative with our solutions. And we kind of mentioned this weeks ago, is that this offseason might be more creative than we expected, right?
Yes.
It's not just as simple as, okay, here's a third baseman. Okay, here's a pitcher. Here's a whatever, right? So, I don't know. Kevin Biggio at second, Gab Moreno at third base. Look at that infield. All of a sudden, I got goosebumps.
It's going to be so fun to see how this all plays out. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Did you have anything else to add here? Any little tidbits?
I think that Gabby stuff is a great note to end on. So.
Okay, sounds good. Awesome. All right, everybody, you can check us out wherever you get your podcasts, at Walk Off Podcast on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram, The Walk Off Podcast, and TikTok, The Walk Off Podcast. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day. Cheers.